name is Noreen, Certified Fitness Professional with Corporate Fitness Works. Thank you so much for joining me today for this signature session with us where we are going to focus on hip-focused yoga flow. So all you will need is a mat or a towel, and if you haven't been exercising in a while, please be sure to take as many breaks as needed, pausing whenever necessary. So let's make sure that you also have some water, and let's begin. So let's begin with a warming breath, inhaling to sky. Make sure you have enough space to create a personal bubble with your arms, stretching out as far as possible, inhaling up, exhaling down, inhaling up, and exhaling down. And now let's bring the feet together as much as is comfortable in your butterfly. So here, knees can be high, but best to try to keep them as low to the ground as possible. Holding your ankles or your feet, let's begin to do some circles. These are known as goddess circles. It's a really great way to lubricate those hip joints. Full range of motion. Really lift the chest in the front and hollow out. And then let's begin to round the spine and reverse. Always making sure that you do each side equally. Very good. I don't know if you heard those pops. So let's begin. From here, we're going to take a moment to find our 90-90 stretch, also known as splattered paint. So bringing the feet apart, we're just going to lower the legs to the ground in the same direction, but try to create 90 degrees with those knees. And so here, the objective is to open the hips, bring the heart forward, and we're going to start with our left leg. So we're going to inhale up, modify by bringing that heel closer or farther for more resistance. Inhaling up, gently press into those hips with a straight spine, and way down as you exhale. Inhaling up, exhaling down. You should definitely feel this in your lower back and in your hips. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Very good. And now at the very bottom, we're going to hold here and walk out those fingertips in what I like to call cupcake fingers, where just your fingertips are touching the ground, way into that hip. Let all the weight come into that left leg. Each deep breath, inhale, lengthening the spine, and exhale to relax. And bringing those hands closer to you, we're going to begin to stack back up. Find your butterfly, and just do a few circles to loosen back up before we go to the other side. And then we're going to bring it around town. Doing as many circles as is comfortable for you. Every day is different. And now we're going to focus on that right leg. So taking the legs in the same direction, going backwards in our 90-90 stretch, also known as splattered paint, because we're twisting ourselves to the right side. Here we're going to modify if needed. Heels close, easier. Heels farther, harder. And now begin to inhale up and exhale the weight into that front right knee. Inhale up, lengthen the heart up, exhale down. And now you want both knees to be touching the ground. Inhaling up, exhale down. Using all those muscles in the glutes and the legs, and begin to inhale up, exhale down. And then stay down here, hang out, lengthen. Again, if you don't feel like you're twisting, make sure that you have that sensation that you're going across that transverse plane here. Cupcake fingers. And then slowly walk it back up. And now, returning back to our butterfly for just a moment. Pressing into those legs, way down. And now we're going to find ourselves into a tabletop. So let's bring all hands and knees to the mat. Take your time. Perhaps if the floor is hard, you can always use extra padding under your knees. But make sure that your knees are under your hips and your hands under your shoulders. A straight spine. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, curl as you hollow the back around the spine. And then return to your neutral table, inhaling your right toe up to the sky. Exhale your lunge, planting that foot in between your hands, and then begin to lengthen. Here, you can increase the stretch by taking that back knee farther. Try to keep that knee leaning towards your second toe on that right foot. If you need to modify to make it easier, bring it closer. And from there, we're going to do crescent moons. So whatever position you want to stay with, press off the front heel, inhale your arms to the sky. And then from here, making sure that you're forming that crescent moon shape with your back. The more weight you press into that back left knee, the more stretch in the hip you'll feel in that side. Heart open, shoulders are far from the ears. And then from here, we're going to take a moment to return back to your lunge. And if it feels good, point that toe up to the sky to really stretch out the quad on the left. You can have your hands on blocks. You can have your heels closer together, whatever feels comfortable for you. For me, I'm a little bit more flexible, so I'm going to bring it all the way back. I even have the option to reach back for that foot to add intensity. And then from here, taking a deep breath, we're going to let that foot release, taking the hands in step. We're going to take a moment here in your lizard pose. So in lizard, drop those hands down. Very good. If you don't feel comfortable with the hands down, you can simply bring that back knee closer. Keep those hands up or farther. From here, to really, really work on those hips and their flexibility, we're going to rotate that left heel down. And then we're going to scoot those heels closer together as needed, because the resistance between your heels is the distance. So let's come into your side angle stretch. And this can be modified. You can bring that heel closer, or you can even take that hand on the thigh. Or bind, sink those hips. Very good. And then from here, cartwheel into your lunge and bring your right foot behind your left hand in a pigeon. And then begin to work that back left knee to your mat. Sink into those hips. If you want to modify, bring that knee closer and the heel in as well. So you want that left heel out if you want more intensity. You can even take a towel under that seat. Inhale, arms up. And then exhale your sleeping pigeon. Deep breaths. Perhaps you have your cupcake fingers, or perhaps you take your hands up to the sky to relax your shoulders. Deep breathing, inhaling through the nose, exhale out of the nose. Very good. And then to get out of this, we're going to come back into our butterfly. Very good. And now we're back into our butterfly. Let's take a moment to stretch it out. We have to make sure that we catch each side evenly, so let's prepare to do that same sequence on the other side. Very good. And then we're going to roll on into our tabletop. Inhale, tabletop to cow. Shoulders are low, tailbone up. Exhale, cat. Tailbone in. Inhale, center. Inhale, left toe up to the sky. Exhale, lunge. Deep breaths, modify it as needed, and find your crescent moon. Deep breaths. Heart lifted, pressing into that front heel and the back knee. And let's find our quad stretch, either pointing up or reaching back. Sink those hips, lift the heart, shoulders far from ears. And then gently releasing. And then from there, taking it into foot down, and let's rotate that heel, finding your side angle stretch. Deep breath. So if you need that extra space, totally feel free to always make sure you're comfortable. Knowing you can always take a modification, or we take a progression. Deep breaths. Always the key to each yoga pose is the breath. And then looking down, let's plant both hands in step. And now we're back into our lizard. So let's prepare here if we want to modify getting lower. Deep breaths. Really try to let those hips and shoulders melt. And then from here, we're going to take a moment, stacking your arms back into your lunge, framing your foot. We're going to bring that left foot behind the right hand. And work into our pigeon. Sink those shoulders, lift your heart. Inhale to the sky. Exhale. Nice and gently into a sleeping pigeon. Always feel free to modify. You can take a prayer above the head. With every exhale in your pigeon, make sure that you're drawing that right hip down here. As the left leg is folded in front of us, we have to imagine that weight is pressing us down to make sure we're really getting the most out of the stretch. Let your pigeon feathers fluff and just breathe. Each yoga pose can be done with 3 to 5 breaths. 8 breaths is more advanced, and so feel free to always come back to this video, pause, and take more time in each yoga pose as needed. The pigeon that I'm using today was not the pigeon that I started with, so it's definitely a long journey. Every day is different, so play off your flexibility for that day. To get out of our pigeon, we're going to turn back into butterflies. And then I'm going to make sure I'm comfortable, rocking around. Deep breaths. Always breathing fluidly. And then reverse to make sure you catch all sides evenly. And because this is for the hips, we want to make sure to get one more pose in, which is a wide-legged forward fold. I have now brought my feet wide, but I'm going to bring them wider. So I'm going to take my hands behind my hips. I'm going to scoot forward as much as I can today. Every day is different. Feet are flexed, and I'm going to inhale my arms up. And I'm just going to reach to each foot, rocking it out. I'm pressing the weight down into my hips. You can also do this pushing your feet against a wall. So let's begin here. And then we're going to come down with your heart, which is a deep hinge. Stay here for a few breaths. If your knees are feeling tight, that's not a good thing. They should never feel tight. We should always keep our knees soft. If that's the case, bring your feet closer together and point your toes. And now coming back up. And then to come out of the stretch, we're going to gently grab the back of your knees back into that butterfly we started with. So thank you very much for joining me. My name is Noreen, and I'm very happy to share this hip-focused yoga flow with you. And I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.